Hello out there. Take a look at what I've got for you right now. This knife right here comes to you again from Quartermaster Knives, as you can tell. And this is a version of the Roper that they've released. And now this knife has been out for a long while, but I've just kind of put off getting it. This particular knife is a version of the Roper that's been made available through the NRA store. And the model name they call it is, I think, the Tactical Shadow. But spec-wise, this is actually almost pretty much the same beast as the knife I reviewed almost 2 years ago, if you look back on my channel, of the original Roper knife. And I've always had my eye on this one at the NRA store, but the prices there were just a little bit higher over the last 2 years, so I've never actually picked one up until now. And right now is actually a good chance to go and get one, because they actually lowered the price of this knife. As it sits right now, they're about $100. And the good thing about the NRA store is if you're able to search out for like coupon codes, online codes, you can usually knock down the price a little bit. Because for a while it was like $130, around that range. So if you missed out on getting an original Roper, you know, the smaller size Roper as compared to the XL they currently make, the NRA store can take care of you in that regard. Of course, the differences are a little superficial. We do have a blade that instead of the black stonewash finish, you have a satin finish, and of course the NRA branding on there. So the markings, of course, on the blade are going to be different. We have the NRA branding there, serial number, and then opposite side, just a simple USA made. Spec-wise, it's pretty much the same as the first generation of Mr. Roper knives, in that they use these large washers to hold the knife together. Not washers, or chain ring bolts. That's what I'm trying to say. Has the same titanium handles, same bronze washers inside. That's what I was going for earlier. And the action is just as nice. So if you want to pick one up, I think now is a good time to get one. Here's how the box is marked a little differently. So the actual box is the same as any other Quartermaster knife that you're going to pick up, with the markings on top. And it has the bag with the number on it and the little catalog. This one didn't come with a card, so I don't know if they all do or not, but this right here is what it's marked as. But if you just go to nrastore.com and look in their knife section, they do still sell these. Not sure how many they have left. They also sell a version of the Furley, I believe it is, and they call it the Tiburon, which is a partially serrated edge. And that one actually is really interesting to me too, so maybe I'll pick up one of those eventually. I just don't know. Because with the NRA store, you know, you have to tend to wait till things go on sale, because otherwise it's always at full price. I was kicking myself earlier this year because right after the holidays they had a 7-day sale where almost all their knives were, you know, 40, 50, 60% off. And this one I would have been able to get for around $70 or $80 at that point. Once you add this and find coupon codes online. But I just completely forgot to buy it, and by the time I checked it again, it was back up to full price. Whereas right now, $99, $95, which I think is a pretty good deal compared to the price you're going to pay for a one of the other original Ropers that are still out there. I know they don't make them anymore, I don't believe. And I really do like the satin finish. I really prefer that over the black stonewash. I mean, one of the big things that I wish Quartermaster would make is one of these ones here, one of the Spicolis with a nice satin finish, because I think all the ones that came out of this knife have the black stonewash, the Texas T as they call it. And so it's a really nice knife, but imagine that in a beautiful satin or polished blade. That would be gorgeous. So really nice knife otherwise. I just wanted to mention that. So if anyone out there's watching from Quartermaster, make this in satin finish. And of course, also comparable to this knife here, this is the Roper XL, the newer generation. Of course, this one has the Tanto blade with the limo tint, black coating, as well as the upgraded carbon fiber scale they sell. And so let me show you size comparison between the old generation and the new. So for being an XL, it's, you know, only maybe, you know, ½ inch or so longer, but it does really make a difference in the size. And some other upgrades to the newer model, they put the pivot bearings in there, so it's really quick and smooth. This one, there's nothing really wrong with it. You know, it opens just fine. There's no play in it. The pivots are easy to adjust. And so I know they upgraded these for some of the last models of the original Roper to something a little bit different in look. Maybe it was more reliable. Maybe it made lockup a little earlier, because you can see this one here. The lockup is just like the original one I reviewed about 2 years ago. It's at the same spot. And is that a bad thing? No, I don't think it is. But a lot of people prefer early lockup on their titanium frame locks. I think the centering on this one is better than the first one I owned. So just a really nice titanium frame lock knife. Weight's 4 ounces, overall length 7.5 inches, 3-inch blade, CPM 154. So again, all the specs are the same as the one I reviewed 2 years ago. Just a slightly different cosmetic appearance and markings on it. And this one I really do like, because I prefer this type of blade finish over the black stonewash, the Texas T. So this knife right here just is beautiful as well, works well. This is one of the best designs I think Quartermaster's come out with, so I hope they continue to tweak it. I know you can currently also buy this same size Roper with a flipper, and they have the SIG branding on it, so that's another thing you can keep an eye out for. So they actually have upgraded this model with bearings, with a flipper, just under the SIG name instead of the NRA name, instead of under the Quartermaster name. So keep an eye out for those too if that's of interest. I don't know the prices on those because it didn't really appeal to me too much with the SIG branding. I'm not a fan of that particular brand out there. Not for any reason, it's just I prefer something more straightforward. But again, I just wanted to show this off. So if you have any questions about this knife or the previous one, the old black stonewash one I owned, I did sell. So I can't show you a side by side with this one and that one. But this one I do prefer, like I said. But dimensions, performance-wise, it seems to be pretty much the same. So a really nice little knife. And I hope you like my little background bandana too. But of course, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.